Watching today's program, educational toys and Christmas decorations made of wood, eco-friendly production which was launched as a secondary project and became a fully-fledged business. How was an entire factory founded thanks to children from one family? What material should be used to make a toy? The quality and safety of goods for children remain one of the main concerns for parents around the world. Back in 2008, a scandal broke out in the United States. An independent environmental organization checked 1,500 toys, and a third of them, that is 500, contained substances that are hazardous for a child's health. For example, lead, arsenic, mercury, and other toxic substances. Now and then, the vigilance of experts and public reaction force manufacturers to withdraw millions of toxic toys from the market, even 10 years after its first production. The UATV, World Against Toys Causing Harm International Organization, publishes annual reports thanks to which products that are dangerous for children do not make it to store shelves. According to the organization, the annual turnover of the world toy market is $70 billion, and $1 billion of this money is often spent on aggressive advertising instead of on the observance of required standards. Watch's mission is far from complete. However, toy safety experts have already come up with the ideal product that any manufacturer should produce in compliance with safety standards.
Діти наш рушійний.
Children are, after all, our creative driving force. They help to start everything. Their needs force us to think, invent, and create something new and experiment with what we created. Maria Hrome is responsible for the production at the experimental toy factory in Lviv. Here they make a lot of different things made of plywood, starting from boxes for other manufacturers to trendy fidget spinners. However, Maria and her colleagues do not try to seize the market. They simply produce those items which are in demand, environmentally friendly and aesthetic toys and educational items made with love for their children.
Планка, яку ми самі собі ставимо.
The standards we set for ourselves are pretty high. Why are we out of competition with others? Because, as a rule, those who have sophisticated equipment, like laser workbenches, try to cut something for children, rarely have a degree in arts and art vision.
Мають якусь художню основу в освіті, так?
How did these creative people find resources to run such expensive production? What role did architecture play in this process, and what allows for the production of plywood toys that differ from other toys? Lviv is the main architectural center of western Ukraine. The buildings that were constructed in the 14th century have been preserved in the city to this very day. Lviv is the city where the history of architecture can be easily learned, and it's the city which can inspire you to create new architecture.
Потім у нас був об'єкт.
Once we received an order for a musical institution, we were asked to decorate the bar counter inside. With the laser machine, we cut out the silhouettes of guitars. Then I thought that this tool was suitable not only for large objects like the bar counter.
Не обов'язково такі масштабні речі, як барна стійка робити, вирізати.
Laser cutting is usually used on industrial production lines. The focused beam is controlled by a computer and it cuts almost all the materials regardless of their properties. Only minimal deformation can occur while their precision remains very high. And Maria thought, what if to use this device with small decorative objects? This way it would be possible to combine original ideas and handmade work made with machine precision and quality. However, the idea was not put into practice for a long time.
На архітектурній фірмі в нас була така...
5 years ago, there was a serious crisis in our business. There were almost no orders. My husband was really worried about it. It was in November, and I suggested doing something simple for sale. Otherwise, we would have had no money even to celebrate the Christmas holidays. Maria developed a design of Christmas tree decorations made of painted wood. This was where her previous experience came in handy. The family invested its last savings in the production of these decorations, so there was nothing left for advertising. How can one present a completely new product a few weeks before Christmas without the help of advertising?
Ми їх виставили на Facebook.
We made photos of our toys and just posted them on social networks. To our surprise, hundreds of people wanted to buy them. So we covered all expenses for production, delivery, and so on, and even managed to earn $450. That was good money at that time. With this money, the family could afford to celebrate New Year's Eve and Christmas. Things got better at the architectural firm, but Maria convinced her husband not to give up an interesting and profitable craft. She gave birth to a child and went on maternity leave. But the architectural firm released a series of toys for the next festive season thanks to Mark's brother, Ivan. There were even plans for expansion. But in 2014, the war for Ukraine's independence began. Ivan was drafted to the army, and there was no one to produce Christmas tree decorations. I didn't want to quit this business, therefore I had to interrupt my maternity leave and learn about the production process. Before that, I just helped to invent decorations, but then I had to learn more about plywood and how to work with it. For Maria, this also was an experience in the struggle for gender equality. According to her, it's not so easy for a female manager to work with carpenters. She had to break stereotypes and study the craft to the point that she would master it better than most of the men. Our guys from the studio often weren't frank with me and said, for example, that something couldn't be done. Sellers of building materials tried to deceive me. I had to take the tools and figure out how they worked. I had to inhale the dust and get dirty in the paint to authoritatively say, guys, you are mistaken, it can't be done. Maria still comes up with ideas for Christmas decorations, but now a designer also helps her. In order to properly prepare for the Christmas season, they need to develop a 3D design in the spring. Our children are our first customers. First, we do a lot of things personally for them, and then we can put this stuff into production. For example, our son got interested in a computer game, and St. Nicholas presented him with a pixel sword from this game, and it could be painted. That's how the idea to produce educational toys was born. The objective of such toys was to take children away from gadgets and inspire them to create something with their own hands. But whatever the toy is, the main thing in the production process is the quality of the plywood. It's not easy to buy the material of the required quality. It shouldn't contain toxic substances and shouldn't break into small parts. The plywood is cut on the laser machine according to the files of each particular model. Then the future toy is sent to the shop for grinding. Each of them is inserted into a stencil and grinded on both sides, and the paint is applied only once. Then it dries. Each toy is grinded one more time manually. Then it is painted again. There is no lead and other harmful substances in these paints. Anyway, every toy from the factory passes through the hands of the craftsman at least 3 times. It helps to preclude any defects. In some cases, the toys shouldn't even be painted, like for example, a plywood ensemble in the topic of the birth of Jesus Christ. This composition is a creative rethinking of traditional Christmas nativity scenes, which were invented by Francis of Assisi in the 13th century. The puppet of sculptural scene of the birth of Jesus Christ is still very popular in Europe and in South America today, as opposed to the modern consumer spirit of secular Christmas. At some moment, Christmas has turned into a commercial holiday with Santa Claus, although it's about the celebration of the birth of the Savior. Therefore, we developed a classical composition which can also be painted. We know the 3 kings came to the baby Jesus, he was born among cattle, and there was the Virgin Mary and the old Joseph in the stable, just as it described in Ukrainian Christmas carols.
Йосип старенький, там ми всі слова колядок знаємо. Ну от, ми це все відобразили в фанері.
These unusual toys made the factory so popular that the Lviv authorities ordered a few numbers of plywood figures for the City Day. This holiday is celebrated annually in May. One of the buildings in the old city center was surrounded by a green fence while it was being restored. This was done to protect the building so that provocative inscriptions couldn't appear on it.
Міськрада вирішила зробити
They decided to put graffiti on the fence and attach large plywood silhouettes. In the end, it turned out to be such an aesthetic object with welcoming slogans, and in a few months, no one dared to destroy this beauty.
І далі він залишився до сих пір за 2 місяці такий, як був. Хлопці розмальовували графіті, а ми до них робили такі об'ємніші більше фігури.
Plast, the National Scout Organization of Ukraine, is among the regular customers of the Lviv toy factory. It was founded in 1911, just 5 years after the first Scouts appeared in the UK. The main mission of Plast is educating free people, conscious citizens, and true Ukrainian patriots.
Вони в нас доволі часто замовляють якісь речі.
They often order such stuff as wooden badges and patches from us. We do swords and shields for them. My husband Mark and his brother Ivan are representatives of Plus, so their organization can purchase all these items at a big discount. I want to support them because they do a very important work.
Хочеться їх підтримати, бо вони роблять дуже велику таку справу.
Children from these two families also inspired the toy makers to create a preschool institution, so an empty three-story building was turned into an educational center. This project was implemented by another entrepreneur, but the architectural firm and the factory provided the school with all the necessary items.
Робота по дизайну, робота по...
We helped them at every stage with the interior, design, recruitment and equipment. Ivan's two elder daughters couldn't understand fractions at school, so we developed visual material, plywood fractions for them. Then we used them in our preschool institution.
Матеріал дуже швидко і якісно їм вдалося подолати ту проблемну математику.
So the Lviv toy factory also became socially responsible for the preschool education of several dozens of young children. Maria's occupation started as a hobby, but she got so interested in it that now Maria finds the architectural business quite boring. Really, what business can be compared with the production of eco-friendly handmade toys that your children love very much?
Я би все-таки хотіла вернутися якось до архітектури.
I'd like to get back into architecture, but making these toys is so interesting for me that I'm not ready to give all that up. I give a piece of myself and put my heart into each toy. Everything I do makes me incredibly happy. Despite the fact that it's dusty, I cannot wear high heels at work, I have paint in my hair and I become multicolored. I love my work a lot. The main thing is that people, in particular their children, really like our toys.
У мене волосся червоне, як ми фарбуємо наші коробки в червоний колір, я приходжу, в мене волосся червоне. Попри те все, я страшно люблю те, що я тут роблю.
The only danger of these toys is that they are addictive. Indeed, it's very hard to stop playing with them.